Hello, everyone. My name is Albert Tom, and I'm with the Society for AI Literacy. And today I'm here with Dr. Wei Cai, a professor in the Faculty of Arts, using AI in language learning and teaching. So, Dr. Cai, could you share a little bit about your background, who you are, and what you currently do?
Thank you, Albert, for having me. I'm a professor of Chinese in the School of Languages, Literatures, and Cultures. And my specialization is second language acquisition. Specifically, I study second language listening comprehension. In recent years, I developed interest in using AI in language learning and teaching and teacher education.
Oh, wow. Okay. Could you share a little bit about what sparked your interest in using AI specifically in your current work? Like, what were the steps, I guess, that took you along this path?
For sure, yeah. So the reason that I start investigating using AI for language learning is because AI has the potential to provide personalized learning experiences, and it provides students with opportunities to communicate in second language. And I remember the first time I got interested in ChatGPT is because I received a letter email from my brother, and at that point of time, I was going to host a big conference, and I received a message from my brother. It's a comment about this conference. I never received such a formal letter from my brother, so I was surprised about it. And then I checked with my brother. He told me that ChatGPT wrote that letter. So that's the starting point. I started investigating the use of ChatGPT for language learning and teaching.
Oh my goodness. So, do you primarily use ChatGPT or do you use like any other AI tools or like anything?
Yeah, I also use other AI tools. For instance, I use Midjourney for
Oh, okay.
creating images,
Yeah.
and I also try other types of tools which are particularly helpful for language learning. For instance, Monica. You know, when we use Monica, Monica can instantly convert English news into the target language at a particular proficiency level. For instance, I teach Chinese. I can ask Monica to convert English text at Chinese message at HSK level 3. HSK is a Chinese proficiency test.
Oh
So
wow.
I do use other AI tools.
Oh my goodness.
Mm.
What could you tell me a bit more about like what Monica is? I've personally never heard
Oh,
of it before, so if you could tell me a little bit more.
for sure, it's an AI tool and it's very useful for language learning. As I mentioned, that it can translate an English message into any other types of foreign languages like Spanish,
Yeah.
like Chinese. So it is helpful for language learning.
Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Okay. And so could you like I guess walk me through like how you would use AI? Like if I were a student who wants to learn, I guess Chinese or any other language, like what would the steps be in your like from your experience using AI to like teach me along the path? Like if I was just a student coming in, like would you be like uh you would create AI assessments or how does that work?
This is a wonderful question.
Mhm.
I'm currently writing a book. It's about the use of AI for language learning and teaching,
Mhm.
and this book is very useful for language learners. So in this book, I propose a principled approach
Yeah.
to using AI for language learning and teaching. For instance, how AI can help them learning vocabulary and acquire reading, speaking, listening, and speaking, and other language skills.
Yeah.
So as a language learner, I just think that it's very important to know why you want to use AI. For
Mm.
instance, you need to have specific goals.
Yes.
For instance, whether you want to use AI to expand your vocabulary knowledge,
Mm.
or whether you want to use AI to enhance your pronunciation skill.
Yeah.
So think about your goal. Start from your goal,
Mm.
and then find the AI tools
Mm.
which can meet your needs. So this is it's for sure it should be goal oriented, and
Okay.
then find the AI tool that meet your goals.
Okay. Oh
Mhm.
wow, that's very interesting. So like do you know of like different AIs for like different purposes? So like if I wanted to learn let's say pronunciation in like Mandarin and stuff, do you have a specific AI that you'd use for that or is that like still something that's in the works, I guess?
This is a good question. So, for instance, if you want to practice speaking skill with AI tool, there are some AI tools available,
Yeah.
and the challenge is that some tools are not very accurate in detect errors
Yeah.
in pronunciation. But I really hope that with the advancement of AI technologies,
Mhm.
and we are going to have more powerful tools that
Yeah.
can help students with the pronunciations.
Okay.
So yeah, just definitely just find the tools that meet your needs.
And I mean, I guess as like with the rate of how AI is progressing, like exponentially, it's like just a matter of time before we see like AIs that are more capable than we ever thought were
Yeah,
possible, right? So
yeah, yeah,
that's something to look forward to, I guess.
yeah.
On the flip side, are there any like challenges you've come across or like I guess struggles you've experienced while trying to use AI in like your specific research context?
Yeah, for sure. There's no doubt that AI is very, very powerful for helping language learning and teaching, but there are also challenges. I think the major challenge is that now there is no principled approach to using AI for language learning and teaching.
Hmm.
So people or learners or even teachers just use AI tools very
Yeah.
randomly.
Yeah.
So I really hope that there are some principled approach
Hmm.
for using AI in language learning and teaching. And the other challenge is that AI can produce inaccurate information, and this is a pretty challenge. I gave lots of talks on using AI for language learning and teaching, and a lot of times I received a question from audience
Yeah.
that how the language learners can know that whether AI provide accurate sentences or
Oh,
inaccurate sentences.
yeah.
This is a challenge indeed. So
Mhm.
for students who want to use AI independently,
Yes.
this is a major challenge. I really hope that with the advancement of AI
Mhm.
and the inaccurate rate will be reduced.
Yeah.
So this is one challenge. The other thing is that AI can show the lack of understanding of the context.
Oh,
So this is another challenge. So
right.
indeed, there are
There
challenges.
are
Yeah.
challenges. Okay. Wow. I do want to ask, like, how do you think AI could be used by educators? Like, maybe not in your context of like just like for second language learning and acquisition, maybe in like other contexts, like for other educators, how do you think they could use AI or start to begin to adopt it if it's something they may be scared of
Okay.
touching on? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think the first thing is that know more about AI,
Yeah.
know its functions,
Yeah.
know its limitations.
Yeah.
I think and more knowledge about AI is very, very important.
Mhm.
The other thing is that start from your goals. So we don't use AI for the sake of using AI.
Mhm.
So we use AI for achieving a particular purpose. So think about your goal.
Okay.
And also for other language for other educators, I think that just start small,
Okay.
and perhaps you can just use one or two AI tools
Mhm.
first,
Yeah.
and gradually, after you know more about AI, gradually use more AI tools.
Right.
So basically, goal oriented and start small.
Goal oriented and start small.
Yeah.
Okay. That's like your tidbits of advice for
Mhm.
people, for educators who want to begin to use
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Again, in the same context of education, do you think AI could refine the way we measure progress and success in language learning? And like, if so, how?
Yeah, this is an excellent question. For language assessment, nowadays we rely on standardized tests
Yeah. Mhm.
a lot. So I would think that AI will introduce changes in language assessment. For instance, AI can track the progress of language learning,
Mm.
and also it can provide real-time feedback.
Yeah.
So I think that language assessment will be more dynamic.
Mm.
So I think it will introduce
In your way.
changes. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, AI can simulate real life situations.
Mhm.
So we can do language assessment in real life context.
Yeah.
So more contextualized language assessment would be possible.
Okay. No, that's really cool. Actually, I just wanted to bring up an example from actually just about a week ago. One of my friends, so English is actually my second language. My native language is Malayalam. It's a dialect from Kerala, which is in southern India. And so one of my friends, he was at my house last week, and he told me like, did you know you can like speak to ChatGPT in a different language and it will respond back to you in that language? I was like, what? Like, no way, you can't do that. And then he went out of his way and he showed me, like, he just like started speaking in Malayalam to ChatGPT, and it actually spoke back in a good accent in proper words, right? Like it was like a grammatically correct sentence. And I just thought to myself, like, oh my goodness, like I can actually like talk to ChatGPT
Mhm.
in my language and actually like practice my skills in that way. And so I think having that experience before interviewing with you, I was like, it opened my mind to seeing like how AI could be used in that context, right? I just thought it was so cool that for someone like myself who may not be as confident speaking in my language to other native speakers, practicing with ChatGPT and just developing confidence in that way was would be so helpful for someone like myself if I go to visit my family back in India in the future. So,
Indeed, and I also have my cell phone. My cell phone I also has a ChatGPT
oh
installed
yeah.
in my cell phone, so I often talk with ChatGPT.
Okay.
So I just ask for advice. For instance, last year I had a visitor,
Mm,
and I asked ChatGPT and give me some suggestions for the places I can show the visitor.
yeah.
So ChatGPT provide concrete, very useful suggestions.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it will provide like immersion environment for
Mm,
language learning.
yeah.
So it will enhance the use of the second language. Definitely, it's very, very
100%. Yeah.
useful. Yeah.
Do you think AI itself could replace teachers entirely, or like, oh, do you think so?
Oh,
Or do you think like where do you see like teachers fitting into like this dynamic role? Because I think we both agree AI is just like growing so much and expanding so quickly. Like, where do you see teachers and other educators fitting into this? Is it for like quality control or like to provide that human aspect when it comes to language learning, or where do you see this going?
This is a great question. I understand there is a concern that AI will replace teachers,
Mm,
and it's a very valid question. I should say.
yeah.
I would think that for now, and we shouldn't consider whether AI will replace teachers.
Mm,
Um, although this is a valid question, I think for now we should think about how teachers can work with AI,
yeah.
so how their roles can complement with each other. I still believe that the human connection is very, very important for language learning.
Oh yeah.
So we cannot avoid learning from a human person
Yeah.
for language learning. And so I think that teachers should think about how to work with AI,
Mm,
and both human teachers and AI has their own strength. So make
yes.
use of each other's strength
Yeah.
and overcome the limitations. For instance, if we use AI, AI can provide support
Mm,
24 and 7.
oh yeah.
So it is available anywhere. So this is definitely a strength. But for human teachers,
Mm,
I think this human touch is also important for language learning. So just work with AI,
yeah.
complement each other's role.
Okay.
Hmm.
That idea of complementing each other is really strong. I think like from people that I've talked to in the like previously, like I think that's the biggest concern that they have is like, oh, I'm scared of AI because like it's gonna take my job, it's gonna do this, this, and this for me, and like I'm not gonna have a job at the end of this, or like I don't see a purpose for myself if AI is gonna do it all for me. But I think that point that you raise of like complementing each other is so important because there there's two sides to this. Like there's stuff that you can do that AI cannot, and there's stuff AI can do that you cannot, right? Like
Yeah.
what you mentioned, that 24/7 support is like that's huge. Like imagine I'm just a student, it's like 11:30 p.m. at night and I just have this burning question that I need to ask someone. My teacher might be like fast asleep in bed, but like I can just go online and like just search up, like ask some sort of generative AI and be like, I have this question, how can I like go about doing this, right? Like that's something my teacher can't do. But then something that my teacher can do is provide me with like an actual humanistic like that relationship,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's one thing to practice speaking and learning through an AI, but it's another thing to actually talk to somebody because there's a greater level of connection like from talking to somebody compared to just talking through an AI model. So
Yeah.
I think that's a really strong point. So thank you so
Oh,
much for bringing
you're
that up.
welcome.
Yeah. What do you think the next big advancements in AI for like second language learning could be? Like you're already at the forefront of it. Where do you see it going in the future?
This is something we should think about.
Mm,
And because of the functions and the features of I would think that language learning is going to be more personalized.
mm,
So AI is very powerful in providing individualized language learning experiences.
yeah.
So I would think that language learning in the future will be more personalized.
Okay.
And the other thing I'm thinking is that the integration of AI in language teaching in classroom
Mm,
will be more smooth. Right
okay.
now, there is a concerns about using AI,
Mm,
and also we are still exploring how to use AI in language learning and teaching.
yeah.
I would think that in the future, AI will be integrated in classroom teaching or learning
Mhm,
more smoothly or seamlessly.
yeah.
I would think that AI will become a lifelong partner for language learning.
Oh,
So it will make a lifelong language learning become more achievable.
oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Okay. That's so powerful. Wow, that's amazing. Um, I think one thing I wanted to ask you again is like so outside of like second language learning and acquisition, have you been interested in using AI in like other contexts? Like has that ever crossed your mind? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For instance, I think that AI can play different roles.
mm,
So it can be my research partner,
yeah.
but it can also my coach.
Oh yes, yeah.
And for instance, I'm if I travel to a different place,
Mm,
if I want to know this place in advance, I can check AI. So it provide me with knowledge. It can be my assistant. For
mm,
instance, if I draft some materials, I can ask ChatGPT to provide feedback.
yes,
A
yeah.
lot of times, ChatGPT can also, or other AI tools, can be my mentor. So
Mhm,
if I have a challenging question, I can ask ChatGPT.
yeah.
So definitely AI play different roles.
Mm,
So just don't think that its role is fixed.
yeah.
Think about the different roles that AI can play.
Yeah.
It can be very helpful for your life.
It's a very dynamic tool,
It
right?
is. It is
Okay.
very dynamic.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for even like I think students like myself, like a lot of us are starting to realize like how like useful of a tool it is, right? Like there is so much you can do with it now that you couldn't do like maybe 3 years ago before the advent of like ChatGPT. Like of course different AIs were still existent before ChatGPT, but I think once GPT came out and like rolled out and like when people started playing with it a lot more and realized like oh my goodness, like stuff like that is what contextualized AI for the common person, right? That's what showed that like there's so much you can do, so many different uses for it, and I think that's just like the nature of where things are going. I think that's like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the role of AI will become more and more important in the future,
Hmm.
and its function will be more, and definitely is going to be more impactful on our life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. And then something that's just been crossing my mind is like when did you start writing your book?
Oh,
Yeah, I want to ask you a bit more about that
okay.
book.
About 1 year ago.
1 year ago.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what could you walk me through the process? Like what prompted you to think like I need to write a book about this?
Oh, okay. This is a big decision.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, writing a single authored book is very time consuming,
Oh yeah.
but I just cannot resist the
Mm,
temptation of writing this book.
yeah.
So I started with writing articles,
Okay.
and I was invited to write an article
Mm,
about using AI or ChatGPT in language learning and teaching.
yeah. Yeah.
And after I finished writing this article, I feel that I have more to say in the field.
Oh.
I just feel that I have a strong passion that
Mhm.
I can make more contributions to the field.
Yeah.
So I started to seriously think about writing a book.
Oh my.
So I just feel that we realize that how important is AI is,
Mm.
but we don't really have a principal approach of using AI.
Yeah.
So I decided to writing this book,
Mm.
and I just in this book I mainly proposed a principled approach to using AI for language learning and
Mm.
teaching.
Yeah. So it's I mean, is it kind of like a guidebook guiding educators and like other people on how to use AI for like the specific purposes that they want to use it for, kind of? Am I misinterpreting it or?
I shouldn't say it's a guidebook.
Mhm.
It's a book that connect theory,
Yeah.
research, and the practice.
Mhm.
So the approach I propose in the book is guided by second language acquisition theory and research.
Yeah.
So it's evidence-based approach.
Okay.
But in the book, I also include a lot of practical examples
Mhm.
on how to use AI in language learning and teaching. For instance, in a chapter on second language reading,
Yeah.
I first presented the theories and research evidence
Mhm.
and what reading is like, what are the cognitive process involved in reading.
Mhm.
So based on this theoretical perspective,
Yeah.
I provide concrete examples how to use AI to enhance the learning process.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
You're also, I'm guessing, calling from your experiences using it with actual students, right? Like, yeah. Do you have any like experiences you want to like quickly share or talk about? Like, what have been like the highlights that you've seen when using AI in that context, maybe with students or with other people?
Oh, you mean the context of using the
Yeah, or um I'm have you had like you've probably had experience like using AI for second language learning
Mhm.
with other with like students or like stuff or other people of your own, right? Do you mind talking about some of the highlights that you've like come across? So you're like, wow, like this student was like they were probably very apprehensive of using AI, but then once they saw what it could do for them, they're like, oh my goodness, like look at this. Like, yeah, do you
Yeah,
have any
yeah,
examples like that?
yeah. I think there are quite a lot of highlights.
Yeah, okay.
And when I know more and more about AI, when I get to know more and more about how to use AI for language learning and teaching, I experience a lot of highlights.
Okay.
So for instance, and personalized learning experience.
Mhm.
So students can just adjust the materials provide ChatGPT or other AI tools based on their interest
Yeah.
and proficiency levels. So it provide very personalized learning materials.
Yeah.
And also ChatGPT can provide instant feedback.
Right.
So this is very useful for students.
Mhm.
And also I found that I when I do research on using I also refer to the theories in second language acquisition. I noticed that ChatGPT or AI can provide a favorable second language acquisition conditions.
Oh.
For instance, noticing is a major concept in second language acquisition.
Mhm.
That is, enhanced noticing language forms is very, very important.
Yeah.
And AI or a ChatGPT
Mhm.
can use some input enhancement features
Mm.
to enhance noticing of language forms.
Oh, wow.
So when I realized that ChatGPT or AI tools can have this kind of functions or features,
Mhm.
I just so excited. And the more I use AI or ChatGPT, the more I realize that it can provide favorable second language acquisition conditions. I
Mhm.
think these are the highlights.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to see like where AI and second language learning can go because um I think it's so important like especially like with how interconnected our world is becoming like being able to know and connect with other languages and other cultures is such an important is such a valuable skill that people should have the access to and generative AI like ChatGPT and other AI tools which are so which are starting to become more commonplace, I think is just going to like speed up that process and definitely help more people connect to each other, which would not have been possible 5, 10, 15, however so many
Yeah.
years ago, right? So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where I'm excited to know that things are at this spot right now, but I'm also excited to see where they can go from here. So
Me too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thankful for the opportunity to have talked with you and like learn more about this experience. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for this opportunity.
you're welcome. Yeah.